Okay, just wanted to make a quick video on this. I've seen there's been a lot of confusion in like the Facebook rigging groups and things like that. Now I realize a lot of the people on those groups aren't riggers, but just thought I'd put out something, on YouTube, my own personal page to go ahead and clear the air on this. The bottom line is when you're changing out reserve closing loops, it needs to be done every 180 days. You don't reuse your closing loops. I don't care what the idiot at Skydive Orange says or anybody else. You change closing loops every 180 days. And if you got a rigger who doesn't do that, you find somebody else. And if, it's going to be hard for you to know this as well too, but any competent rigger should also know that if they somehow lose the reserve pack job and they go beyond the pilot chute, where there's a lot of tension usually on those springs, you also go back and rechange the loop, right? And you've got people that I've seen that don't know how to properly finger trap a Cypres loop. It's mind-boggling how some of these people, and again, I don't think everybody on there is a rigger. I know they're not, in fact, but I wanted to, again, create a video and clear the air on this, so to speak, a point of reference people could go back to and look at if they have any questions and just follow this kind of step by step. So I'm going to take this from the very beginning. I'm going to show you how to finger trap, how I do it. I do use one or two special tools you may not have access to, but a regular fid will be fine. And you can pick those up at Paragear or wherever else. So let's get the ball rolling. I always keep my threads, whether it be Cypres loop or whether it's Type 2A or whatever, in plastic bags covered. A lot of times you get this UV exposure. It's not as bad with LED light bulbs these days, but the fluorescent light bulbs can do some serious damage to the thread. So I always keep these in bags to make sure they're safe. And this goes for my rigger seal too. Again, you only are going to be sealing off sky hooks, and you'll see me use this to thread the reserve closing loop into the Cypres washer here in a bit. But you only use rigger seal. And this is tensile strength of 4.75 pounds. So anyways, I'm going to show you how I do it. And yeah, if you have any questions. So I always measure out around 22 or 23 inches. It's a good number. Leaves us a little bit on the back end if we want to cut and cauterize, after we're through. So go here. Like I said, you may not have access to this fid, but that's fine. Regular plastic or metal finger traps will work just as good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Cypres loop, I'm going to fold it in half, right? I'm going to get my marker. Mark on my side. I'll show you how it's done. We're going to go in the same side of the marker. This little fit here saves a lot of time for me. Again, if you're finger trapping this and you pierce the Cypres loop at all, you come out the side and you pierce it all, you need to get a new loop. The integrity of this loop is compromised. So if you're hitting all these different sides before you make it to the mark, you need to throw that piece of loop out and get yourself another one. And again, this isn't about saving money, it's about saving lives and doing things the right way. And I can't tell you how much shit I've seen lately done wrong. So this looks about good. We'll pull it into about right here. Pull this straight out the brim. So it's a little bit easier to trap this, right? When we go with Type 2A, we've got to worry about keeping things straight, right? Not so much with this because it's the weave is nice and round. So what I like to do is you definitely want the end of your loop to be around 1/4 of an inch. And to do that, and make it come out right, I've got a real T-bodkin. This is not a soft T-bodkin, but a real one, right? It's a tool you don't think you'll actually use, but it's got a lot of purposes, especially when you're building out these loops. It comes in really handy. And the diameter of this comes out to around 1/4 of an inch and makes it right. So just kind of pull it right around the T-bodkin, right? Pull. One nice tug. And this is where we go. I think I need to actually walk over and get it myself. Ugh. They sell these nice rulers on Amazon that you know, they're built out into 1/8 of inches. So when we run the reserve closing loop we're making through the Cypres washer, we'll lose about 5/8 of an inch. That's kind of the magic number that most people have come up with, right? It's also very important before you just run a new loop through this, you check this this washer right here, see if it's got any type of burrs or dents on it, because it'll happen, especially over time, right? And that's what we'll do here. You're looking for any type of cracks or burrs right around the holes in this washer where your loop's going to go through. And again, we're going to lose about 5/8 of an inch. These can be reused, obviously, but I'd recommend replacing these every couple of years, especially if you're a frequent jumper. And this one looks decent. It's not great, but it's decent. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this this ruler, and for these, for all intents and purposes, for vectors, I like to keep it, not sure what the manual says, I'll have to go back and look, but it's usually between 4 and 5 inches. Maybe it's somewhere around there. And the first mark we're going to make on this is where, after we put our loop through the washer, where this this loop, this Cypres loop will come out of, right? So for this, I'm going to put it around 5, because we can always, it's too, I think the manual says if you've got about 1/2 inch coming out of the pilot chute, it's too long. Pilot chute meaning once you've set your pilot chute, after you've packed the reserve into the free bag, you need to go back and redo it. So we'll put one mark here at 5 inches, and the other one I'm going to put here at 5/8 of an inch. And this is where I start to see a lot of problems, right? People, like, how do you tie the knot? Well, if you don't know how to do it, they give you, when you buy a rigger's kit, they give you a little book that shows you how to tie the knot. It's even got a quick start guide, like you would get if you were, buying a new, Apple product or whatever, right? And what you want to do is you want to tie this knot, and we're going to do kind of like half a surgeon's knot. We're going to go through twice, right? What this does is, with these half a surgeon's knots, before we tie it off, it kind of allows you to move these knots, right? These knots where you want them. And we want those a little bit above this this line, this mark, furthest away from the head of this this loop, right? This mark down here on this end is what we're going to be running this loop through. And we know that once we tug on this, we put tension, it's going to have a tendency to move a bit. So I'm going to tie it right above, you'll see right above where I made this mark. All right. And we're not through yet, right? You have to go back and tie another overhand knot. And we'll kind of move this knot right up against these 2 other knots that we just made. So it looks like we've got 3 just like that, right? So that's good, right? And I said it's nice too on this opposite end. We can always cut and cauterize this here in a bit, which I'll do. But now it's time to actually push this through the washer, right? And I'll show you how I do it. While we're at it, let me get the Cypres lube in case I forget. I always have a nice order. I go through, and I'll even take this and set it right here on the reserve non-detachable riser, so I don't forget to do it right. We're gonna cut us a piece of reserve sealer's thread. And again, this is important that we use this because it's tensile strength at 4.75 pounds, right? So this means if we had some type of total, right, where you know the main didn't come out and we had to go to immediately our reserve. Keep in mind that the reserve, you know, at all intents and purposes, what it's designed to do when it's connected to the skyhook is come out of the free bag while the malfunctioning main's being cut away, right? And so the bottom line is, if you have a total, right, and your main's not coming out, you know, you don't want to have some type of horseshoe or something else where, you know, your reserve can't come out, you know, even though the main's not out, right? So the idea is if we use this, it'll break, and, well, you know, we're not using some type of tack or whatever it may be. This can easily break and get our reserve over our head in the event that our main does not come out. So it really doesn't matter. I like to go with a little bit longer. Here. What I'll do is I'm using this, but I'll also set this to the side when I'm done, when I'm tying down my skyhook, so I don't have to actually, you know, waste thread. And this stuff's cheap, but you know, shipping's what gets you these days with everything else. So I'll set this over to the side. And you'll see here when we run the closing loop through this washer, it'll come out, we'll lose once we connect it, we run it through, we'll lose about, oh, I don't know, 5/8 of an inch, right? Should come out, we can measure it, but it should come out, again, right around a 4.5, 5 inches, which I think is what UPT recommends. Some of these dudes that are, you know, coming in and they're doing 4-inch reserve closing loops, you know, I'd like to see them actually, you know, fire those on a scale and see how many pounds of pull force it's requiring. So anyways, you start here with one of the corners of the washer. These are Cypres washers. And after that incident, what has it been, like 20 years now in Antarctica, where those folks went in and the only guy that lived was the one that had a Cypres. These things rarely fuck up. Usually it's user error. So we've got that down, right? Now we'll go to the other corner, right? Let's just make sure so we're not doing any wear time to the end of our loop. We'll just kind of guide it in there, right? And then we'll do this same thing here. Now we go in the middle. Well, like I said, I'll just pull this out and kind of set it to the side. And then here, usually I set it right here beside my fid. Here's where we go back. Let me get the T-buck. What I like to do is go get the knee plate, because a lot of people still use the knee plates, whatever else it may be. I don't really use those anymore. I mostly pack by hand, but knee plate still does serve its purpose. And I'll put this washer under the knee plate. Give it a good tug. There we go. Now, we're not through yet, right? So, definitely these are pre-lubed, but you always kind of want to make sure that these are moist. That's what she said. So we'll put some Cypres lube on here. You know, I may even take it upon myself. I can definitely see my lines, which is great. I know that things haven't moved. They come out to the way I originally measured them. But I can always go back and measure it again if I needed to, right? You'll see right here, they come right around 4.5, which is great. And then so from there, want that shit leaking out over your rigger's toolbox. That would not be good. From there, we can take a sharp pair of scissors like we have here. And maybe, you know, maybe we take out a ruler and we say, well, we want to allow ourselves here, you know, a couple of inches. Some people don't want to cut them. I'm just going to allow myself here, you know, what, 3 inches, right? And bam, we are done. Now, this goes, depending upon javelins, I think there's an actual plate. You put it underneath and run it through. Vectors, obviously, there's just 2 grommets, and you just run it through one grommet and pull it out the other. But there you go. That's how to make a reserve closing loop, just like that.